their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. Happy Friday. It is March 19th. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. We are almost done with March. I'm so thrilled to be coming to you live today on Fiverr Friday. We have the ceremonial pencil, we've got the hat, we've got the random board of doodles, and of course, we've got the Fiverr Friday mug. Thank you, John. And this really cool shirt with my logo on it. I'm all set. Oh, and the Fiverr hat. We're more set than you can be set. Yeah. Anyways, welcome to the show. It's great to have you. If you are new to the show, this is where we come together live on Fridays. I give you my spiel, announcements about Fiverr, things that I try to help you learn about Fiverr, and then you post your comments, questions, and I try to do my best to answer them and talk with you and share any knowledge that may be stuck up here in the brain. So, welcome. I hope you're having a good Friday. I want to start off by some announcements, but real first, just as you're coming in and you notice, there is a little icon on YouTube. It's like a little money symbol. It's called a super chat. If you feel ever so inspired to do so, please feel free to leave a donation. It helps move the channel forward. It helps me keep doing these videos and keep bringing you great content every week. Thank you for that. Anyway, so let's move on to announcements. Couple things happened this week with Fiverr, and I want to talk about them. I'm really excited, actually. First thing is milestones. So I got this message saying that Fiverr finally switched over milestones for sellers so that you could actually get, as a seller, you could actually get paid for each milestone. So how it used to be was that the milestones worked where you could work with a buyer and they could set up milestones. So like if it was a longer project or something, you could basically do something like, hey, we'll do the first, 5,000 words will be the first milestone. You submit that, then we'll pay. And then the next 5,000 words, we'll submit that, and then you'll pay at that, or the buyer will pay. However, how Fiverr used to have it was that it wasn't the seller themselves, the person doing the work, didn't get the money even through the milestones until the very end of the product, right? The project. So that was kind of junky because, when I first set up milestones, I was like, this is actually pretty cool. I like it because I'll get paid halfway through, especially for long form narration or audiobooks. But that's not the way it was. So you didn't get paid until the very end. So now finally, and I'm very thankful Fiverr's done this, they have switched it now to where every milestone that is reached, the seller gets paid. Right? Which it should be that way. So I'm very thankful that Fiverr's done that. They've switched that around. Also, just on a side note, it seems like with this new Seller Plus program that Fiverr's doing, I do feel a lot more help coming around with Fiverr when it comes to the sellers. I think there's still some room to go, as always, but I do like the fact that I'm seeing a lot more people who are going through tough situations with clients, and Fiverr seeming to go back and take care of the sellers to either removing bad reviews or removing problematic kind of dings on their account, whether it's cancellations or things like that. I've been seeing more and more of that. So that's a good thing that Fiverr is doing, I think. That's really nice of them. All right, now this next thing I'm really super excited about is we got this, and this is not live yet, of course, but Fiverr does these things every once in a while where they sends out surveys to the sellers trying to get a feel if they're going to be interested in this new idea they have. And there's this survey that's been going around on Fiverr where they are thinking about launching, which I'm actually really thrilled about this, the availability for us to buy ads on Google, on Facebook, on social media for our Fiverr accounts. So we would be able, just like Fiverr released a while ago, the promoted gigs, where you can pay to promote your gigs on Fiverr. They're also sending this survey around asking if, we would be interested in, doing ads through Google, through Facebook, etc., to send people to our account. I think it's a fantastic idea. I love the idea, and it's actually really smart because Fiverr kind of does this. They do this anyways, and it gives Fiverr a way to actually let us spend more money ourselves, but determine how much traffic we get. I think it's a fantastic idea. Now, of course, it's going to depend on how well they set it up, but I think that's pretty cool. And just like promoted gigs, which as many gigs as I can get, I promote as much as I can and spend as much money as I can. I'll do the same with the Google ads, just because it always gives you an incredible return. So far, my promoted gigs have given me an incredible return on investment, something like tenfold. So it's well worth the money. If I spend $100, I'm making like $1,000. So I really like those numbers. So that's something I'm excited about on Fiverr that they're doing as well. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in today about what I wanted to talk to you about, and it's how to get more work on Fiverr. We're always trying to do this. This is one of those questions where it's always a question. No matter where we are in our Fiverr journey, it's always a question: how to get more work. And I've broke it down to 6 different parts. And what I want to do is I'm going to tell you these things, and I want you to please feel free to, again, leave comments, ask questions as we go through these as you want to know more. But I'm excited to go through these. I think these 6 things are the basis for you growing a profitable business on Fiverr and elsewhere. And I do want to point out that everything we talk about on Fiverr, in my opinion, is something that can be used all over the internet, no matter what you're doing, even if it's your own website. So first, before we get into the 6, I want to talk about the 3 main things we always look at. And I always mention this, whether I do a Fiverr gig review. I offer Fiverr gig reviews on my website where you can purchase that review, and I'll go into your account and do like a 20, 30-minute video and review everything for you and send you that video. But basically, I always say that there's 3 things that you always got to focus on. The first thing, right, is being found. You got to be found in the algorithm, whether you're on Fiverr, whether you're on, you're trying to get your website found, whether you're on Upwork, whether you're on ACX, whether you're on People Per Hour, no matter where you are, voices.com, voice123, doesn't matter. You've got to be found. Doesn't matter how good you are, you got to be found. If you're not found, no one will ever see you or hear you, right? That's the first thing. Then again, the second thing is, once you're found, okay, are you enticing enough to click on? And this is always what blows my mind. I've worked with hundreds, it's probably getting close to over 1,000 voice actors now. And I have found that there's really only a small few, okay? A small few who, in my personal opinion, could not get work in voiceover because maybe they really needed to work on their acting. I'm being serious. Most people I work with, they're good enough to get work. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mean that they're ready to, blow it out of the water, but in general, there's not, most of us, we're working on our craft, but we could get work. But here's the thing. The majority of people I work with, though, really struggle with the latter part of this, which is getting in front of enough people and then being able to entice them to actually want to listen to them, consider them for work. So the second part of this is, are you enticing enough? We do this through your thumbnail, your pictures, your taglines, your description, the things that people see right up front. So remember, people have to do 2 things before they even click on you, right? The first thing they've got to do is find you. They've got to find you first. Out of the ocean of voiceover actors, the ocean of minutia out there, all of the stuff that is in front of their face, they got to find you. And then once they find you, they've got to be inspired enough to click on you. This is, again, and I know where this is Fiverr Friday, but this is for anything that you're doing. I always have people ask me, hey, how does Fiverr and what you're doing with Fiverr, does it relate to anything else? It relates to everything. And that's a part of the reason why I love Fiverr, because I've taken everything that I've learned from Fiverr and I've applied it to my business everywhere, okay, is getting in front of as many people. You know me, you know what I do. I try to get in front of as many people. The more people I get in front of, the more exposure I get and the more opportunities that come my way. But once you get in front of them, right, number 2 was you have to be enticing enough for them to click on you. Then the third thing is once they click on you, once they listen to your demo, they read your description, they look at what you're offering, you have got to be inspiring enough. And I use that word on purpose. I use these 3 words, right? I use you got to be found, you got to be enticing enough, and then you got to be inspiring enough. I use that word, those words on purpose, because I really believe you have to inspire people to buy from you. Okay, you've got to inspire them, whether it's from your, and this is where your demo comes full in effect. Your demo has to close the deal. Your demo has to match with what you're doing with your thumbnail. Your demo has to match with the copy that you have. Meaning, like, it's like walking into a store and there's parts of the store that don't make any sense to you, and you get this odd feeling. Okay, and then there's other stores or restaurants that you walk in and everything is perfectly put together, and you get this feeling like this is a place I feel confident to be in. I feel confident to spend my money in. Okay, like, you know, that's a part, and we're going to go over some of what makes people confident here and these 6 different things we're going to talk about. But it was important that I mentioned to you those 3 things. I'm going to keep mentioning them to you. Okay, over and over and over again every time we do this, because it's not just Fiverr, it is everything. Everything. Okay, so now moving on to these 6 things that you need to do to get more business on Fiverr. Okay, number 1, and possibly the one that I see people doing the least. All right, and we talked about this actually with a recent interview I did with Julie Wilson and Dan Zitt, right? It was fantastic, the interview that we had with them, and we talked about filling out profiles. We were talking about ahabtalent.com at the time. It's a new revamp of their site through Penguin Random House Audio, and they were mentioning to me actually off the podcast about how people, you know, are not getting their full profiles. They'll put up they might put up one demo or one sample, put up their name and maybe a picture from like 15 years ago, and they don't put anything else up. They don't do anything else with their profile. Well, the same thing goes for Fiverr and everywhere. This is why I preach about profile over and over again. Fill out your profile. I'm actually working on right now. I was doing some work right before this on a LinkedIn, one-on-one course, getting more clients and more voiceover work from LinkedIn, because that's been blowing up, especially with the release, right, of Microsoft saying that they're going to take LinkedIn to like Fiverr, where they're going to allow you to offer services. We've talked about that, right, on this channel. But, I was talking about how, again, it goes back to filling out your profile. You've got to fill out every corner, every nook and cranny, everything that is available for you to fill out, whether it's education, whether it's possible other skills, whether it's pictures, whether it's samples, whether it's your description, whether it's FAQs, right? Frequently asked questions, whatever it is, your tags, extra samples, extra audio, fill it all out. Every last bit of it. Okay, it's so important, because the more you fill out your profile, the more people are going to come to you. They're going to look at your stuff and they're going to be like, man, this person really knows what they're doing. They really look. It's like, again, walking into a store saying, wow, they're pretty incredible. This looks amazing. I definitely want to work with them. Okay, so fill out your profile to the letter. Don't leave anything blank. All right, number 2, have a professional headshot done. We are actors. If you didn't know, you are an actor. Welcome to acting. You are a professional paid actor, right? Yes, the medium you work in is voice acting, but you are an actor. Actors need headshots. You need a professional looking headshot. When people go to work with us, they need to see us, and we want to present ourselves in the best way that we can, because our headshot is just as much a part of our resume as the things that we have done. And I'm going to tell you why, especially in voice acting, because our headshots show people a bunch of different things. One, it shows them that we're a real person. We've talked a lot about AI recently. It's more important than ever that you are a real person and you're showing people that. Number two, your headshot also gives people an idea of how much you give a crap. Right? How much you almost like beep, how much you give a junk about your business, about what you are doing. You have to show people that you care enough to get your headshot professionally done. You know, it's funny to me. I always say this. I say, if you were going to an interview, okay, and the job interview was possibly for a job that was paying over $100,000 a year, okay, would you go to that interview looking like, you know, not really caring very much about how you looked? Your resume was kind of junky. You know, you didn't dress up. You didn't present yourself the best. No, you wouldn't do that. You would make sure that you went looking the very best that you could look, having your resume filled out the very best it could be, being prepared 120%. Everything was ready to go for that really high paying interview, right? It's the same thing with Fiverr, because you can make six figures. Do you know how I know? Because I do it. You can do it too, so treat it like that. This is something I really want to convey to you all. You see it. If you're in a VO's Journey Facebook group, you see it at every end of every month. The amount of money people make, because we're all transparent. We post all of our earnings at the end of every month. It's quite incredible. All right. And, you know, it shows you how much people are making through this one platform. You can too, but take it seriously. Okay, it's not a joke. It's real, tons of money here. And the people who kind of take it, or you know what, I don't think people ever do it out of taking it lightly. I think it's more so they're worried that they might not have something, or they're worried to put themselves out there a little much. And I understand that. But that's why it's good to work with a professional. Get a photographer, tell them what you're trying to do, get a professional headshot. Then your job is to put them into your thumbnail, right? Your job is to get that thumbnail looking great. I had a great conversation earlier, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, with a voice actor, and we were talking about, I think it was yesterday. We were talking about, it was yesterday. It was yesterday evening with one of my mentor students, and we were talking about their website, and they were pushing it, you know, starting to really get it out there and talking about branding. And, you know, they were asking me, hey, you know, what should I have a logo? Should I use my face, etc.? And this is what I'm going to present to you. I'm going to say to you, because this is what I've done. Your face is just as much your logo as a little logo. I have a logo. I love my little logo, but my face is my logo. We are our own brand. The brand is me. The brand is you. So you've got to plaster that face and your name everywhere. You make sure that no one can turn a corner without seeing your face and your name, and they know that you are a voice actor, because that is the way it goes. We have to get in front of people 20, 30, 40, 50 times, and our faces need to be ingrained in their minds so that they recognize us, they remember us. Okay, so use your face as and think of it as your logo. Your face, your name, your thumbnail needs to be iconic. You need to think of it that way. It needs to be iconic. All right, I think I've talked enough about that. All right, number 3, your demo. When I first started in 2017, there was about a little under 7,000 gigs up in voiceover on Fiverr. Now we are super close to 24,000 voiceover gigs up on Fiverr. 24,000. When more competition comes, you've got to raise your game. I used to say that I believed you didn't need to, do music in your demo. You could put up a demo that was based on what you can do in your studio. And I still think that's really important. But what I'm going to tell you is, and I can't remember, I've talked about this, but what you put out there is going to equal what you are going to get. All right. So don't be angry. All right. When you're first starting, you're putting stuff out there and you're getting work. It might not be the enormous amount of work that you want, but you'll get some work, possibly. But your demo is going to tell people how much, how good you are in a variety of different ways. So you want to have the very best demo you can. Yes, I'm a firm believer it needs to be done in your studio. I think you can do it yourself. You could DIY it, or you can do it professional. I do demo services. Lots of other people do demo services. Okay. And yes, they are expensive, but I had to tell you, like my demo, I have one spot on my demo that is literally probably responsible for hundreds of thousands of dollars of work I've gotten in voiceover. An 8-second spot, all right, on my demo. And if I go to say, okay, well, I need to invest X amount of money into that, you know what I mean? It's hard to always invest up front because we are going on faith, right? We're going on this idea that we don't know if it's actually going to work. But I can tell you, right, that's how you finalize, that's how you, solidify the job, the deal. So make sure your demos are as good as you can possibly get them right now. If you don't have a couple $1,000s to invest, that's fine. Make it as good as you can right now. That's so important. Okay? Make it as good as you can right now. Whether you do it or you get some help, make them as good as you can. All right. Now, number 4, put up as many gigs as possible. Like I said earlier, I do a lot of gig reviews or profile reviews for people on Fiverr who want to up their game on Fiverr. And a lot of times when I get those reviews or get those accounts to review, there's only like 1 gig up. Okay. And the idea here is that if you want more work, you've got to throw more fishing lines in the water. I think I got that from Bill DeWeese. Bill DeWeese, I heard him say one time, throw more fishing lines in the water if you want to get more fish, right? If you want to get more voiceover work. Same thing here. Throw more fishing lines in the water. Throw more gigs in the water. I know you might hear people say, oh, well, be careful about putting up too many gigs because, you want to focus on one because that one will help you grow and everything. But here's the rub. Again, we're talking about 24,000 gigs, you guys, for voiceover on Fiverr. Put up some more gigs to give yourself some more opportunities. Here's another example of why I think you should do it. If you go to search for something, all right, and there's 24,000 possibilities. What are you going to do in order to find what you want? You are going to narrow that search, aren't you? You're going to try to find the specialist or that particular place in that genre or area that you're trying to find someone to work with. Okay, you're not going to just blankly type in everything and then go through thousands and thousands. You're going to narrow your focus. Well, you need to think the same way as a seller. Use all of the different gigs, which Fiverr's given you on purpose, right? As level 0 or just starting out, you get 7. Level 1, you get 10. Level 2, you get 20. And a top-rated seller, you get 30 gigs. Use all the gigs that Fiverr is giving you to narrow in your specialties. Okay, whether it's you're going to do a podcast intro and outro, whether you're going to do e-learning, medical narration, corporate e-learning, explainer videos, whether you're going to do video narration, whether you're going to do video game work, character work, specific characters, right? You don't need to do an entire character demo where you're doing 10, 20 different characters on one demo. Do specific ones. Okay, how about audiobooks, nonfiction, fiction, different genres in fiction, mystery? I mean, you need to consider the fact that there are so many people on Fiverr. How is someone supposed to determine whether you are the right fit? Because they can't listen to everybody. So what can they do? They can only find out by the gigs that you've posted, the titles you've put down, the thumbnails you've done. Then that leads them to you. Then they'll click on you. So please take that in consideration when you're just trying to figure out what do I do. Put up as many gigs as possible. All right? Okay, so that was what? Number 4. Number 5 is buyer requests. Buyer requests. This one is an interesting one because it used to be buyer request section. If you go in the top ribbon of your Fiverr, when you're on Fiverr, the top ribbon all the way to the right, there's a little button that says more. All right, you click that more button and then there's a drop down and the first one on there is like buyer requests. You click on that. If you are just starting, okay, you don't see very many. You might see about 5 or 10 a day. And buyer requests are basically for buyers who don't either want to search through thousands or tens of thousands of people to find what they want, or they did a quick search and they couldn't find it, so they posted it there. All right. Or they'd like to bid and see if someone will give them a price that they want. All right. Now, if you are level 1, level 2, top rated seller, those jump from like 5 to 10 to like 60, 70, like 100. Okay. I don't know. Fiverr changed that. It didn't used to be like that, but I think, they probably again did it to at least try to, stop people who are just getting started, taking up everything, trying to up the quality. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why they did it. I don't know. But either way, you could still get work. Now, I get this question a lot. Anthony, what do I do? Somebody's looking for something that is completely opposite of me in a different language. All right. I know there's different people opinions on this. My opinion is this is just my opinion. All right. And take it for what it's worth. If somebody's on Fiverr and they're looking for voice talent, why would I not reach out and introduce myself and let them know that I'm there to help them if they ever need, in my particular case, a male voice talent. All right. Whether they're looking for someone from another country and that's not me, I'm still going to reach out to them and let them know that if they ever need help with a male voice talent with an American accent, a neutral American accent, I'm the guy for them. Okay. I never let any opportunity go to waste. And I've had tons and tons of examples of people who've done this and gotten work from people who are like, well, you know what? I wasn't considering this, but I actually like the way, your style is. We're going to work with you. I mean, it's happened over and over again. Don't let any opportunities pass you by, even if you think they're not an opportunity. Please don't be that person that says, well, I'm not submitting for that. That's not anything like me. These are people looking for voice talent, whether they have put down exactly what you're looking for or not, at least introduce yourself. All right. That's at least my personal opinion. When you get to level 1, level 2, it will grow. You'll have a lot more availabilities. Fiverr allows you to do 10 a day. So that means you can put out 10 a day. My recommendation is put them out. Not only will it possibly get you business, but also grow your traffic. Okay? So buyer request. And the last one I have for this one, number 6, is post to social media links that go back to your Fiverr account. Now, we talked about in the beginning that Fiverr possibly is going to start doing ads and stuff on Google, Facebook, possibly YouTube, right? So if you are trying to grow your Fiverr account, and you don't want to be sending people to your to your website because maybe you don't have a website, maybe your website's not the way you want it to be, maybe it's not up to par, or you think people are going to your website and if it's unprofessional or it's not as professional as you'd like it to be, so you're not getting work, and you want to send them to Fiverr. Start posting on social and having links either in your profiles or whatever that are heading back to Fiverr. Okay? Drive people, because remember what social media is a place to get yourself out there, to get yourself recognized by other people. I think so many people go into social media with this idea, I'm going to sell on social media, whereas that's not really what social media really does right now. All right. What it really does is it gets you awareness. It gets you exposure. And then it gives people an opportunity to say, that's interesting. That's, I recognize this person now. I want to find out more information about them. All right. It allows you to get in front of a lot of people, and it gives them the power to find out more about you if you set it up right, which is what I'm trying to do in this LinkedIn course that I'm putting out here coming up in the next couple of days. Okay. So again, get yourself on social media, put the links back to your Fiverr. First off, on a side note, if you have a website and you are very happy with your website and you want to drive people to your website, I recommend driving them to your website then, not to Fiverr. But if you don't have a website or you feel like it's junk, all right, drive them to Fiverr. Grow your Fiverr account. Because no matter what anyone says right now, Fiverr is now going on their 11th year. They have clearly bring in, billions of dollars of revenue a year. This is a place that people trust, and it's getting bigger and bigger. Perfect example. Today, about 30 minutes before we went live, I had someone message me. They had 5 small commercial spots, 15 second, 30 seconds. All right. Each one of them is a separate job, right? Each one of them under 100 words. But for me, each one of those jobs is like $150, like $150. So like this job was, I don't know, $700-800. You know what I mean? If people are telling you can't make hundreds of thousands of dollars on Fiverr a year, they're just not on Fiverr. They don't know what they're talking about. So take it seriously. It's really a big, or just take working online seriously. Send them either to your website or to Fiverr. Okay? All right. So those are my 6 tips for the day. Are there more? Sure. But those are the 6 I got for you today. Now what I want you to do is take a moment, post your questions, post your comments. If you would like to donate with a super chat, I'd really appreciate that. But let me go ahead and go to the top up here and start seeing who's here. Character Voices, hello. It's good to have you from YouTube. Bill, what's up? Hey, AP, Mr. Midas Touch. What's up, Bill? Good to have you. Sean from Facebook, I totally got here by accident. I forgot the rest of the world changes their clocks besides us in Arizona that don't. Hello, Fiverr World. That is crazy, Sean. I had that happen to someone else the other day that was from Arizona, and they missed something or whatever. I think it was it you? Was it in Fiverr? It was in VO's Journey Elite. I can't remember. But anyways, good to have you, Sean. Facebook user, I like it there better. Okay. Okay. Creative Lady Productions, hello. From Chattanooga, Tennessee. Great to have you. Doug Fairbanks, hi. Hello, Doug. Good to have you. Let's see. Marla. Is that Marla? Hello from Texas. Hi, Marla. Good to have you. Facebook users, hey, AP, happy Fiverr Friday. Happy Fiverr Friday to you too. Scott, what's up? Good to have you. Let's see. Maine resident, hello. Happy to tune in live for the first time. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Halfway through my first book on ACX, The First of Money. Hey, congrats. Congrats on your first book. That is awesome. I remember my first book. I thought I sucked so bad, but I was so happy that I had a great feeling of accomplishment. But congrats on that. Congrats. Let's see. Serious Kelper, what's up? Hi, Anthony. Quick question. How do you feel or how do you deal with flimsiness of your gig's visibility? Meaning, how's yours gig can get a lot of impressions and projects on 1 month, and then next month, nope. Okay, cool. So good question. Now, there could be a lot of things going on, but I'll tell you one thing that Fiverr has admitted to, and they're very open about, is that Fiverr, and this happens, but the more people Fiverr get, the more that they rotate. All right, meaning that they rotate people from closer to the front to the back. They rotate people in ads. They rotate in order to give everybody on Fiverr a chance to make money. Now, the people you see on the front page a lot, they're there a lot because they've kind of gone above the algorithm because of the amount of business they get consistently, all right, the amount they're promoted. But the majority of people on Fiverr go through a cycle. You'll notice like half of the month you're super busy, and then the other half of the month you're not. And that's because Fiverr rotates you. Okay. And the way to break out of that is just by building your business, building consistency or consistent followers or people who come back and buy from you over and over again to where you beat the algorithm because it keeps promoting you higher and higher because you keep making money no matter where Fiverr puts you. Does that make sense? So that's just something to note that they do switch people around. All right, great question. Let's see, Scott. Are promoted gigs available to everyone, or do you have to be at a certain level? Right now, to my knowledge, I believe you have to be level 2, and they have to reach 30. Your gig has to have 30 reviews. Once it reaches 30 reviews and you're level 2, then they allow you to do promoted gigs. They might have moved it to level 1 too, but I'm pretty sure it's level 2, and your gigs have to have 30. Once they're 30, it'll pop up that promoted gigs, and then you'll be able to go in there and you'll be able to hit a tab that says you want to promote that gig. Okay, so that's the criteria right now, I think, for promoted gigs. Good question. Sean, I started promoting gigs with when the program started, but in search is using incognito. I've never seen one of my gigs listed as promoted. Okay, Sean, great question. Let me tell you how Fiverr does this. So just like this, and I learned this, and I did more research, and I spoke with Fiverr and the Seller Plus program about a bunch of things about how they do this. And basically how this works is every time someone searches, every single time, which, is unbelievable, but every single time, the algorithm, Fiverr's algorithm, determines at that time whether the keywords, whether the criteria is met, whether it's right for you, whether you have any pre-saved data, et cetera, and it determines whether or not to show you or you get that promoted gig or you get Fiverr's choice. Like you could get someone says, hey, you're Fiverr's choice, and you go search for it and you're not Fiverr's choice. But to them, you were Fiverr's choice. It's because they have their algorithm and they have a set of rules and conditions that every time someone searches, it could be different. And it's changing constantly because people are constantly putting through jobs and those things are changing. So it's a pretty complicated thing. So yeah, so don't fret if you don't ever find yourself personally, you know what I mean? Because you're definitely, if you're promoting it and it shows that you're getting impressions and clicks, it definitely is going up there. I can tell you this, I spend as much money as I possibly can. I try to spend $50, $60 a day, and I can't get anywhere near that. Fiverr won't even let me get anywhere near that. I have the highest, I'm tapped out on the highest I can go. I try to do as much as possible, and I still can't get everything. So, you got to do whatever you can do. But yes, so hopefully that answers your question. Out of work professor, top of the morning to you, Mr. Pika. Hello, appreciate all the great content. Thank you so much. Sparty, 7883. Is an impression your gig appearing within a list or specifically viewing your gig only? No, an impression is anytime your gig comes up on a screen. So anytime someone, whether they hover over your gig and stare directly at it, or it just comes up when they do a search and they scroll right by it, that's an impression. Okay? Good question. Dave G. Gotta beg to differ. At least half of the folks on Fiverr have no business being in VO. Probably more, Dave. I love having you, Dave. All right. Can they spend years trying to achieve the level they need? Sure, but best buyers are savvy. So, I won't. And then you say your Fiverr content is awesome. The barn stuff is interesting. Thank you, Dave. So I will say that I don't know. By chance, with 23,000 plus people in voiceover on Fiverr, I don't know them all. I will say that it has been proven, and I've seen there are a lot of people who join who do use their cell phones for doing voiceover, or are not what we would classify as maybe a voice actor who's really has a home studio and really putting investing a lot of money and stuff like that. I'm not a big advocate for saying people have no business in doing voiceover. I don't like that, because I have seen, especially being a teacher, some amazing things where people were counted out and they've done some incredible things. With that being said, I will say that if you are just getting started and you are using your cell phone, or you're using some, like the computer microphone, all right, and you want to grow and be a serious voice actor. And what I mean by serious is I mean someone who it wants to really make a living, earn a good amount of money in the field, and people really, wanting to hire you. You're going to have to invest in equipment and getting better equipment and training, because I've been a teacher my whole life, been an actor my whole life, director, coaching voice actors now every single day, and I can tell you that being a lifelong learner, continuously getting training is a must. You have to. You have to if you really want to continue to grow. I always use that analogy that if you are swimming and you stop and you tread water and you don't move forward towards the shore, okay, yeah, you could tread water for a while, but eventually you're going to get exhausted and you're going to drown. I hate to say that sounds morbid, but it's true. You've got to keep moving forward. You got to keep getting training. You got to keep getting better. So Dave, I appreciate it as always, your opinions and your thoughts. Thank you. And thank you so much. Let's see, Clint, here, teach. Good to have you, Clint. Let's see, Jason MVO. Hi, Anthony. First time making it to a live video. Thank you for coming. Good to have you. Thank you for all of your great advice over the last year. I started in VO because of COVID. Did have previous acting training. Just reached level 2. Congrats, Jason. That's awesome, man. And thank you so much. You said, I've wanted to ask for a while why you use promoted gigs without having all 30 gigs up. Wouldn't the traffic be essentially free from the additional gigs? Is it because some gigs are seasonal? Good call, Jason. That's a good one. I think for me, the promoted gigs are promoting the gigs that I want to do work in. Does that make sense? And because they're working so well for me, that I really, at this point, love to specifically do video narration for commercial work, for short commercial work, and I love the amount of money I can make for the time that it spends. So to me, I love to promote those gigs. If I was having a lack of business, okay, then definitely I would do exactly what I told you, is I put up as more gigs as possible. I have about 11 up or so, 10 or 11, and I can put up 30. But I don't, because I want to do the specific, I'm specifically doing one thing. If, again, this is about you, and this is what I recommend. If you have all the business you want, because there's a caveat to the other thing. If you have all the business you want, don't put up more gigs. But if you don't have the business you want, and you're already promoting everything you can, put up more gigs. Absolutely. Great question, Jason. Great question. Facebook user, this is the best Fiverr Friday episode ever. Thanks, Anthony. Thank you. Let's see. African voiceover talent, McDonald. Hello. You are right, Anthony. I have had someone from the U.S. hire me from the buyer's request section for an African VO, whereas they were looking for a British female candidate. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, again, thank you for that, because people don't know you're there unless you tell them. Okay, and they might also think they want something, but then hear you and realize, wow, I think that they would be better for this. So great comment. Thank you. Let's see. Sylvain D. Cheers from France. Hello. Hope I said your name right. Welcome from France. Let's see. Esther, I am happy I accidentally catched you live today. Yay. Greetings from Germany. Welcome. Welcome from Germany. Good to have you. Let's see. Eileen, hi, Anthony from Indonesia. Wow, you guys, we're all over the place today. It's awesome. Welcome, you guys. Great to have you. Let's see. Audie, hey, Anthony, what's your favorite cartoon character? What's my favorite cartoon character? That's a really good question. I don't know. I'm trying to think, because I don't know. That's a really good question. I'll have to get back to you guys on that. I don't know. I think it probably goes into like video games, because I played a lot of video games and stuff. And, when I was young, I always liked to play the Mario Brothers and different things like that. But yeah, I don't know. That's a really good question. I'll have to think about that. Sorry, Audie. I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that. Let's see. Anthony. Anthony sent a great name. Hey, Anthony. Always good info as usual. Thank you. Working on what we discussed in our one-on-one a few months back. Well, listen, wait, I'm sorry. Sorry, Anthony. Audie. So I would say if you like, what is your favorite cartoon? I can tell you what character I enjoy doing the most. So I love, my favorite character to do is like this rough and gruff drill sergeant. Like with like a southern draw. I don't know why. I've lived all over, but I do have kind of a southern. It comes out sometimes a little southern draw because I've lived in southeastern Virginia a good portion of my life, but I've lived as far north as Michigan and Indiana, and I've lived in Florida and Mississippi, over in Arkansas, and been to a lot of different places. But I love doing a drill sergeant. I don't know why. A little drill sergeant. I think that's fun. So I don't know if that kind of helps you out for what character I like to be. But then I also like to do evil characters too, because I like to do evil characters. So anyway, you got me thinking now about it. All right, Anthony says, hey, Anthony, always good as usual, working on what we discussed in our... Oh, yeah, awesome, Anthony. Thanks, man. DJ Chris, what's up? Happy Fiverr Friday. Does Fiverr penalize your gig if you change your video or audio clip? Okay, so there's sometimes you can post something new, and what Fiverr says is that every time you go on and make a change on your gig, Fiverr says that in the fine print that they have the right to review your gig, or it goes through the review process every time you redo it. Now, a lot of us, when we do it, we'll just go in there, hit the save button, and it just saves it there. It doesn't go through a review process. But sometimes it can. And sometimes they'll boost your gig, or sometimes it seems to go down. I have to be open with you. I really don't know how Fiverr determines whether your gig gets boosted or whether it goes down, but I have seen both on my account. Sometimes they'll go up, sometimes they'll go down if I make a change. A lot of times if I make a small change on one gig, it goes up. Now, I will tell you this. If you make a change over your entire account on all the gigs, every single person, every single actor I've worked with, their stuff has gone down as a whole. If they change everything at once, like every one of their gigs at the same time, do you know what I mean? They always seem to go down. But, that's the only... So, but I don't know if there is a criteria for it going up or going down. Okay? But if they specifically penalize you for changing it, no. There's no penalization for changing that. They want you to update your stuff. Okay? Good question. Let's see. Esther says, I hope I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry if I am not. I got a promoted gig opportunity today. Awesome. Although I just got on level 1. Okay. So maybe they switched it to that. And having only 6 reviews on this particular gig. Oh. Well, geez, that threw what I said out the water. So that's pretty cool. I am really happy for this chance. Hopefully it will work. That's awesome. Well, maybe they've made some changes. I do remember when it came out, it had to get to 30, and like all of mine are only at 30. Like they have to be at 30. But that's awesome. You know what I mean? And maybe they've changed some of the rules, which is great. My recommendation with that, Esther, is go for it. Like put it up to $3. And change it to $50 a day. One, you won't be able to get that. They won't be able to spend that much money. And trust me, you will make your money back. But if you don't want to, take your time. I know that might be scary for some people, but I have tried to spend that much money, and Fiverr won't let me. So it's one of those things where I've tried to do a little, I've tried to do medium, and I find if I at $3, because they won't let you go more than $3. Some of them they won't let you even get up to $3. It depends on how competitive it is in that area. But give it a shot and go for it. Absolutely. All right, let's move on to the next one. Marissa. I just had my first order, but they did 3 commercials of the same product of 20, 15, and 10 seconds as one order. Didn't know what to do or how to handle it since this was my first time. Marissa, this has happened to me so many times where they bundle a couple of orders together, put it under one, only pay for one set of rights, and they have multiple orders. So let me tell you a couple different things. One, it kind of sucks because they found a way to game the system, all right, in a way. You can always message you can always message Fiverr, but my recommendation is when that happens, go ahead and let them know that each one of those are separate and that they need to pay rights separately for each one of those. Probably they won't want to because they probably packaged it for that particular case. If they don't want to, then you've got a choice to make. And this is where it can get challenging on Fiverr, and it really boils down to how you want to make that decision for you and your business. And the decision that you have to make is either A, you do it anyways, put it through, let them know, hey, listen, in the future when we work together, please note that all of these are separate, which is what I've had to do many times because I didn't want it canceled. Or you can say, hey, listen, this is not okay. We're going to have to cancel this if you can't pay for the rights. But note that it does go against you. However, because of what I talked about in the beginning too, Fiverr really seeming to take some good time, or they seem to be really trying to make things better with the seller relationship with Fiverr and the seller, that, messaging Fiverr might get you a little bit further, you know what I mean, than just not messaging them. But I know exactly what you're going through. It's happened to me tons of times. And, it's like a crapshoot whether or not they will accept the extras or not. So, just go for it. But note that if you don't put it through and you cancel it, it will affect your account. So it's kind of like a way that they can game the system. But good question. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Benjamin. What's up, Benjamin? Hi, Anthony. I finally caught a live show. Welcome. It's great to have you. Facebook user. Hi, this is Bernard from Atlanta. What's up? From Velvet Tones Production. Awesome. Are there sites that you would not recommend? And do you have an email address from which I can contact you? Mine is Bernard Tanner, Bernard.Tanner. Good plug, Bernard. Good plug. Well, so at this point, my biggest thing is a couple of things. One, the pay to play sites. I am bullish on some, not on others. By the way, I have an exciting interview coming up. We've got going to be interviewing the CEO of Voices.com on a VO's Journey podcast coming up here in the next week or so, week or two. I'm really excited about that. Dave, I'm going to say C because I think I pronounced his name. I think it's Ciccarelli. I think I got to get his last name right so I don't embarrass myself and him at the same time. But I know his name's David, the CEO of Voices.com, and I'm going to be interviewing him. And, I think that when it comes to these different websites, I've always been an advocate, try to get on all of them. Because the more exposure you can get, the better. But by getting on all of them, you still have to make sure that you have your own specific set of rules for your business. A lot of times I'll get people who say, hey, I just got a job, or I just got an offer, what do I charge? And that's okay, but you want to go into this knowing what you're going to do on these platforms, unless the platforms have their own price fee structure, in which case you got to abide by the rules. But I would say sites to watch out for right now is actually ACX. And the reason why I bring that up is I love ACX. I started on ACX, but there's been a lot of issues with ACX recently with, it's becoming more difficult to weed out the people who are not supposed to be posting books on there. Okay, because sometimes they'll post a book, you audition, and then you'll find out that they've hired you and you do all this work and you submit the book, and then ACX will come back and say they didn't have the right to do that, and all the work you've done has gone down the drain and you get nothing. And this is happening a bunch, and I'm not very pleased with ACX on that. I'm hoping that they're working on it. I haven't reached out to them. They haven't reached out to me, not that they would, but I hope they're doing something to work on that. But I would watch out for that platform and any other platform that is not seemingly or actively trying to protect sellers from fraud. Okay, when I had that interview with this last interview with Julie Wilson, from and Dan from Penguin Random House Audio, I asked them about that. I said, hey, what is Ahab Talent doing to make sure that voice actors aren't, going to be like defrauded, meaning they're not going to be paid, or they're going to do a bunch of work and not get anything for it. And, they said they have a very type, they interview all the content creators that come on there. They do searches. They try to make sure that these are legitimate businesses and producers and stuff, or writers or indie production people, or it's going through Penguin Random House. So, that's what I would recommend. I would recommend do some research on it and see what people are doing, and what they're making and what they're not making. So that's my recommendation. That's a good question, Bernard. And it's anthonypicaproductions@gmail.com. Absolutely. Thank you, my friend. Dana, since you've been a top-rated seller for a while and making good money before the promoted gig option, do you think you would have gotten those orders whether you spent money to promote your gigs or not? That's a good question, Dana. I don't know. Honestly. And I would feel wrong telling you that I did know, right? My feeling is that if they did not implement that program, possibly, but the way I look at it is this, since we are on that platform and they're offering it, if I don't take advantage of it, I know other people will. And, that will not get me what I want. So I don't know if it would or wouldn't have, but that it's there, I'm going to use it. I get what you're saying, though. It could be like a catch-22, right? Like, do you really need to spend that money? Would you be getting the work if you weren't spending that money? I don't know. It's a good question. So, but I was going to say that because it is there, I am going to use it. Good. That was a thought-provoking. All right, MD Alamin. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. Shake. Sorry. All right. So we'll call you MD. MD. Sir, have you any Apple Podcast? Do you need promotion? Have a Fiverr account? If you want, can you order me? Well, thank you for the plug. I do have a podcast. It's called the VO's Journey Podcast. And I'd love for you guys to take a listen. We just hit episode 200 and we just finished 202. Now I'm really excited. We've got some incredible guests, not just the CEO of voices.com, but we've got some other amazing people coming on. I don't want to give it away, but I'm so thrilled and excited, so I will keep you guys posted. But let's see. We've got Sean for voiceovers. What's up, Roadrunner? Because he says a lot with very few words. I like that. Professor Tracy, hello from Minnesota. Hello, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Do you know about the cool wall for keeping your booth nice and comfortable? Thanks. No, I've not heard of the cool wall. So in my whisper room, I have a ventilation system. And I've tried to purchase the extra things to keep it quiet, and it's okay. It's kind of quiet. Basically rotates the air in and out, and it can keep it kind of cool in there. But a lot of times, because of the speed at which I voice now, because I don't do a lot of long form narration in my booth, I'll do it sitting down here instead. I'm not in my booth very long, but it can get very hot in the booth. And when I had my hobo fort, it was extremely hot. So I've not heard of that, but I definitely would love to look at some more information on it about the cool wall. Is that like a fan or what is that? Maybe you could share a little bit more about what that is. Hi from Atlanta. What's up, Jeremy? Do you use Universal Audio Twin Duo? Yes, I do. I have an Apollo Twin. Yes. What are your preferred setting presets? Mike. So I love to use CS1. It's a free plugin through Universal Audio. Apollo Twin has tons of plugins, but I use CS1, and I use the equalization and the compression part, which is processed pre going into your DAW, so that when I'm talking, like right now, it's being processed. All right, via CS1. So you're hearing my voice EQ'd on this microphone and compressed. Okay, so it's doing it live right now for you. So when I record, half of what I need to do with my recording when it comes to editing is already done. Okay. And then from there, I just have a post cleanup that I do through my DAW, which is Adobe Audition. So that's why when you see me record, it takes me like that to record a finished product, because a lot of it is being done automatically. This, of course, is an RE20, all right, an Electro Voice RE20, and fantastic microphone. Absolutely love it. And the microphone that I use for all my commercial work and my voiceover work is a Sennheiser 416 microphone, which is a shotgun microphone. Good question. All right, Tiffany says, how long does it take for gig placement to recover after it goes down? I just did that to myself, and I'm kicking myself. I hear you, Tiffany. It happens to a lot of people where they do it all at once. It will come back. It takes some time. It will come back. After a couple weeks, it will work its way back up. So it won't stay down forever. Yeah. So, but it takes a week or two. Let's see. Glenna Edward, Pap and Gigi just saw a white hawk. Well, thank you so much. Let's see. That's my mother-in-law. Thank you guys so much. I'm glad you saw a white hawk. Audie says, I believe they're on the road traveling in some other state. My goodness, you guys are everywhere. Audie says, I'm going to try and draw something up for you when you find out your favorite cartoon. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I will. Tom Johnson. Oh, Zach. I just scrolling down. Zach, thank you for your super chat for the $5. I really appreciate that, Zach. It means the world to me. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Let's see. Unfortunately, did not have a camera open or a cell phone as the hawk was landing alongside the highway. That's pretty crazy. Main resident. Is Authors Republic the best ACX replacement? Huh. So funny as you say that, because like I said yesterday, talking about ahabtalent.com, I think I'm loving Ahab Talent. I will admit they just relaunched, and as I'm on there, I'm noticing that there's not a great deal of matches, because the way ahabtalent.com is doing it, which is again put together and kind of like an arm of Penguin Random House Audio, but also is now open to other content creators. I think they're getting themselves out there. That's probably what we were doing with the podcast yesterday. So that site's going to grow. ahabtalent.com, AHAB talent.com. So that's another great place. I know Findaway Voices is another place, but they are who they are. I don't know too much about Authors Republic, but these sites, the sad thing with ACX to me is ACX is still by far the biggest open place to find books and to audition freely and openly. And that comes with problems, you know what I mean? But that's the sad thing. I hope they get ACX squared away. 2020 was not ACX's year. So, but yeah, I'm not too sure about Authors Republic, but I definitely take a look at that. But I would check out ahabtalent.com, Findaway Voices. Those are a couple good places. Jay Doherty. Hello, Jay. Let's see. When my prices are lower for a couple of months, my impressions skyrocket. But when I raise them, my orders and thus my ranking go down, and I ironically earn less money. How do you price gigs best? Thanks for that question, Jay. A lot of people have different opinions about this, but I'm going to give you mine. So I always believed in supply and demand, okay? And this is how I determine when to raise my prices. I raise my price. By the way, first, you only raise them ever in $5 increments, okay? And the second thing is, whenever I am so busy that I can't do any more work, like I'm physically so busy with the orders coming in that it's getting hard to finish them, okay, before more orders come in, then I have a demand problem, right? I mean, like I have too much demand, okay, and not enough supply. So when that happens, you need to raise your prices. But if you have too much supply and not enough demand, okay, and you raise your prices, you're not going to see any jump. Now, some people will say, listen, I raised my prices because I was trying to do something and I got busier. And that can happen. But for me, I never raise my prices for only two reasons. One, I've got a supply and demand issue and I'm just so busy that I got to raise my prices. All right. And then usually when you raise your prices out of a supply and demand issue, you don't have an issue. You make more money because there's that issue still. Or two, I raise my prices because I'm trying to slow down things. All right. And I don't want, to keep getting business. However, when that happens is generally the same and I don't get that slow down. So that's why, because I started at $5, you know what I mean? And I did that for about 2 years. And now I'm at $40, right, for 100 words. And then I'm at about $95 for writes. So it's usually about $135 for 100 words or less for me. Whereas before, it was like $5 or $10. And now, it's quite a difference than it was. But I was that way for 2 years. And the only time I raised it was when I was literally so busy I could not do anything else. And there was no way, literally physically had no more time. So that's my recommendation to you. Okay. Some people, though, like to say when I get to 100 reviews or something like that. But I personally like the supply and demand model because it is never, it's never faltered for me. When I was so busy, it means that people really want my work. And if I raise my prices by $5, I'm still going to keep getting work. Does that make sense? Good question. Zach, again, thank you so much. Late today, but finally made it back. Thank you, Zach. Chris Lawrence, what's up, my man? Can I use a mono mic for voiceovers? I'd have to look at what that, let's see. It's a mono mic. I don't know that mic. Is it a USB microphone? Is that what it is? You know what? If it's a USB microphone, of course. And I think there's so many more, as technology advances, USB microphones are just going to get better and better. I think in the industry, right? I don't, now in all fairness, I don't use a USB microphone. I use XLR microphones. And a big reason for that is because of the speed of transfer, the control that I have, the type of microphones that are available out there are primarily, the upper level microphones are primarily through XLR. And that transfer of electricity and the sensitivity that you can get through an XLR microphone to this point haven't really been available in and USB microphones. But as we know, technology changes, and that's going to change. It would not surprise me, all right, for USB microphones to continue to get better and better and better. I think I saw a post this morning on LinkedIn by Bill DeWeese about a microphone, a USB microphone that he recommends, Fifine or whatever. But listen, I work with people, students who use USB microphones, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Absolutely not. But this is what I want to tell you. Start with what you have. I started with a USB microphone, a $40 Blue Snowball mic, the little round ones. Okay, that's what I started with, and I booked work on ACX with that. But again, I booked the work that I could get with that microphone, if that makes sense. All right. I wasn't able to book the work I get now. And it's just because I've upgraded my equipment over the years so that I could offer a higher quality sound. And I will say that I was not prepared, or not prepared is the wrong word, but I didn't know the difference. Like, you don't know what you don't know. The difference that higher quality microphones and equipments will get you. But again, start with where you are. I think that mic is fine for you to start with, but start with it with the understanding and the knowledge that you are going to get the work that microphone and your equipment can handle right now. All right. And, when you have extra money, you've made some extra money, or you're ready to invest some more, invest and buy some, upgraded your equipment. And if we're always upgrading our equipment like we should, reinvesting in our business, I think you'll be fine. All right, good question. Dale, what's up, Dale? Says, so in Marissa's case, would you just bite the bullet and do the job, but add in the future these 3 spots are separate? But yes, exactly, Dale. Absolutely. Yep, that's exactly right. Bill says, thanks, AP. Pure gold as usual. Thanks, Bill. Let's see. Sylvain, you just reminded me of the buyer request feature on Fiverr. I stopped in 2016 and just resumed my gigs. Thanks a lot. Oh, absolutely. Voiceover Angela. Hello, Angela. Good to have you. I forgot about the time change. Yeah. Oh, that's right, because you're in Arizona too. Hey, those Arizonans. Main resident. And let's see, Audible Gate as another ding for ACX. Audible Gate. Yeah. Okay, Facebook user. Oh, we got a big post here. All right. Hey, Anthony, dropping in from country of Brooklyn, NYC. What's up? Long post, but here's my status. I agree with being proactive with the buyer requests. I went Fiverr live in February, and my metrics seem to be going well. Awesome. I'm now 38 days out of 60. Cool. I've completed 16 jobs, so that is over the 10 needed, and have 3 current open ones, one $75 still in discussion. The prices have varied from $5 to $60 so far, and the jobs have been voice grueling from the amount of content. I see this as a paid training and a way I have just a way to just be to grow within the Fiverr environment. 3 buyers have become repeat buyers, $233 net out of the required $400. I have tested and pushed some repeat buyers to increase from $5 to $7 to $10. Still very low compared to non-Fiverr, but go above and beyond to reach out to the buyer or requesters and build your staircase step by step. Absolutely. Absolutely. And listen, I love how the awareness that you have. You know, everybody listen, remember, where we start the journey is not, you know, where we're going to end or where we're going to be a few months from now or 6 months or a year or 2 years. Where you start right now is just the beginning, right? You're starting off to get experience, to prove to people that you and your business is viable. I think a lot of people have forgotten that when we start a business, you got to prove that you are something that people are going to work with. I hear a lot of people always saying, you know, don't degrade yourself, don't charge, you know, below. I was watching a post the other day, somebody saying don't charge ever below $100. And, you know, I appreciate what that person was saying. But I think they also said that they had been in voiceover for 20 plus years. And I'm in a complete agreement with that person. That person should not charge under $100 being in voiceover for that long. But when I first started in 2017, never having been in voiceover, how could I expect people to pay me that amount of money when I didn't, you know, when I hadn't, my business hadn't shown anyone anywhere that I commanded that my business commanded that much money. Okay. Now I believe my business does. But at the time, it did not. I wasn't ready. My equipment wasn't ready. My business wasn't ready to command that much. So I'm right there with you. I think you're doing the right thing. Keep rocking it one step at a time. And as you grow and you become more in demand, raise those prices and raise those prices. You know, we don't stay stagnant. The prices go up as you are in more demand. So excellent post. Thank you so much. Doug, AT2020 condenser and USB. Yep, that's a very popular mic too. Chelsea, what's up, Chelsea? Happy Friday, good to have you. Too rich to miss, what's up, Rich? Happy Friday. Steve Wilson, what's up, Steve? Lofty says, for buyer's requests, if you send an offer to a potential client and then remove it from the list of buyer requests, will the client still see the offer? That's a really good question, Lofty. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they still see it if you remove it. My bet is they don't, but I don't know. I can't be honest. I can't be 100% on that. That's a really good question. I would assume that if Fiverr gave you the ability to remove it, they must remove it from them because remember, Fiverr only allows you 10. Do you know what I mean? So I'm thinking that means that they do remove it. I'm not sure. Let's see. I'm not sure either. Guess we need to do some testing. Thanks anyways. Hey, Anthony, what kind of games do you like to play? Audie. So I do like World of Warcraft. Have you seen some of my stuff? I've also played Stargate. No, I like to Stargate the show. But StarCraft. So kind of a Blizzard person. So I do enjoy those. I do enjoy those games. I've played World of Warcraft. I don't play much anymore just because I'm busy, but I used to play a lot, and World of Warcraft's been out a long time. So anyway, so I do. If you ever look at and you ever see videos of my stuff, I do have World of Warcraft photos and banners up all over the place because I do enjoy the artwork and stuff from that. So that would be pretty cool, Audie. Thank you for the question. Appreciate it. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for spending this time with me. This is a great session today, please take a moment to like, subscribe as always. And I'd like to tell you guys about a VO's Journey Elite. You know, it was called Fiverr's Elite. We switched it to a VO's Journey Elite because, you know, we've grown to over 100 members. We meet Wednesday. We meet tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. And, you know, we get together and we talk about Fiverr, but we also talk about Upwork and ACX and Voices.com and growing our business through our website and marketing. We do voice acting coaching. We do editing and we do coaching. We've got the Barnes coming next week to be guest speakers. We've got a guest speaker tomorrow on Upwork. We've got a lot of wonderful things going on in that group. There'll be a link below if you want to join, or you can go to avosjourney.com, and it's called a VO's Journey Elite. It's for everybody. I know it says elite, but it's for people who are just beginning. It's for people who are seasoned, who want to grow their business. It's really an awesome community. We have a private Facebook group as well, and we'd love to have you. So thank you guys so much. We got a couple more questions. Oh, no. Should I answer? Okay, Lofty says, did you use the free software Audacity in the beginning? No, I've always used Adobe Audition because I actually had a subscription to Adobe prior to me starting, but I didn't even know Audition existed. But then I found that it did, and since I had a subscription, I started using Adobe Audition from the beginning. Then I taught myself Audacity on the side, but no, I've always used Adobe Audition. Facebook user, do you think that buyer requests are filtered to you depending on your Fiverr status? Yes, they are. I see sometimes that the total number on the bottom does not always equal the ones I can see. They are filtered based on your level. And how much you have available to you, like how many, if you have 10 left or not. So yes, good question. Chelsea, I reduced my monthly expenses, so I should be able to jump in the Elite wagon in April. Awesome, Chelsea. We're excited. I can't wait to have you there. Maria says, thanks, Anthony. I love my fee. And I don't even know if I say this right. Is it Fifine? I apologize. K670, and recommend it for new people using USB. Have an awesome weekend, everyone. Awesome. Thank you, Maria. Lofty says thanks. Let's see. Is it Tulani? Hi, Anthony. Just a big thank you for your honesty and your willing spirit to share from South Africa. Thank you so much. I appreciate the shout out. You all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. All right. Happy Friday. Stay safe. And I will see you soon. All right, everybody.